Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Post-game of the press conference of Max Allegri, and we'll also speak about the possible strategies to reinforce Juventus in next summer, because Max Allegri said, and also there was a big article on Tuttosport already speaking about players that could leave, players that could possibly join from the Mercato session, from the loans that can coming back, and also from next-gen promotion. So a lot of things in today's video, but of course, a lot of you will probably ask yourself, Beppe, you uploaded a video this morning, you didn't speak in English, you didn't speak in Italian, but you spoke a language that we are absolutely not used to hear you, in French. Why? Well, I pinned a comment on that video, I said, wait for the second video where briefly I will explain, I will do a recap. You know that yesterday I spoke about 11 minutes about the Times Square episodes where I didn't point finger on the out or the in message, but I point finger on the message. The message I didn't like, seeing our Juventus being exposed through an individual, and at the end we are receiving shadow, bad light. This is how I interpreted it. Unfortunately, in that video, I also mentioned Amin, that is one of the French guys community that spoke about it, and I also wrote a comment where I said he was doing it for fame. Where I had him on the phone yesterday, case closed, I said, I'm sorry for what I wrote. The intention of the video is correct according to me, but of course, I can understand that some things that I said in passion, in a long video, could have been bad explained, so I was really sorry for that. And that's why I said I will do a video in French for the people that are not able to understand English really well. That being done, now we go towards the video of today, that is the press conference of Max Allegri. There were things that I enjoyed listening him and hearing from him. There were things that I already started seeing the controversy online because parts of it were cut, and I believe that he could have expressed himself much better. And then we'll speak about Mercato. So we go for the first thing. Yes, we are in a difficult moment. That's what he said. When we are doing 1 point in 3 games, we are in a difficult moment. When you are doing 1 point in 2 home games, we are in a difficult moment. So I was happy that he acknowledged the fact that we are in a difficult moment. Could have said, for example, no, but okay, we are in line with the points, with our objective. No, he said we are in a difficult moment, and we have to find immediately the way to go back on the right path. So there is the intention to go out of that tornado. Then he also said, and that I appreciated because this is what I asked in my post games of Udinese and Inter, we need to change the approach, the behavior that we showed in previous game. I enjoyed a lot that sentence. For what reason? Because you remember the game against Empoli, I was sad, I was angry, I saw the Scudetto flying away, but I said, what do you want me to say individually to the guys? They gave everything they had. Of course, they could have played much better. Of course, we had to keep that lead and keeping the 3 points at home against a relegation team. But in terms of behavior, they tried. Not the right way, but they tried. And this is what we asked in the beginning of the season, where the Scudetto was absolutely taboo, where we said no chances to win it. We said what we want to see this season are evolution in the game, or this, but especially that the guys are giving everything, that they show us that they can care. And that's what I saw against Empoli, which I didn't see against Inter, which I didn't see against Udinese. So I was happy that he also understood and pointed finger on that. He said the details in the last few games were problematic because the details made the difference in the game. Well, I think that there is the first thing that I didn't really enjoy because, yes, it is correct. It's the detail that punished us, like the goal that we conceded from Udinese, stupid goal again. But I believe it's much more than only the details. You know, if he said, you know, it's and the behavior and the details, you know, I would have appreciated more. He said at a certain moment also something about running. He said, you know, if you don't run equal to the other teams or more than the other teams, then it's difficult. So he speaks about 3 things. He speaks about the details that we have to be much more focused on, about the behavior, and he speaks about running, something that he asked and that we were not able to transmit on the field. Important things. If we want to go back to victory, I think that these things are absolutely essential. Another thing that I really like before going to the controversial part is when he's saying, look, when things are going well, especially defensively, it is human, it is natural to drop focus, to drop attention, and that's where we are punished. And it's not because of one person that we have to blame of an individual. It is because of everyone, because it's the human nature. When things are going well, you lose a bit of focus. So it's everyone that is responsible, but I am the coach of this team. I am responsible for it, and I am the number one to blame because I had to anticipate. I probably could have done better in keeping the attention higher. And I love that, because a lot of time, people are saying, but he's not taking accountability on things. I believe that in today's press conference, he said it really well. Spoke about Chiesa and Yildiz. Is there a possibility that there is an overhaul in Juventus, to start seeing Juventus after the losses, like 7 years ago when we lost against Fiorentina, to see an overhaul in the formation and etc.? He said, no, we will continue to do what we did. Chiesa and Yildiz, Vlahovic together, of course, it's nice to play with a lot of offensive players. More offensive players, the better. But we have to keep in mind a few things. Balance first, then depending on the moment. And the third thing is important, having all the players physically ready. Who will start tomorrow between Chiesa and Yildiz? He didn't really answer it, but he said that Chiesa, we have to pay attention. We have to manage the moment, because it comes from an alternating moment of game yes, game no, game no, game yes, game yes, game no. But same for the training session. Sometimes being able to participate with the team. Sometimes he had to train isolated himself. From what I felt, I don't believe that Chiesa will start the game tomorrow. He will enter in the second half, of course, but not starting tomorrow. But he has the 4 strikers at disposal. Dusan Vlahovic is back, and that's already a really great news. What about that controversial thing before speaking about Mercato? Well, at a certain moment, there is a question from a journalist that is saying Juventus has hit or achieved 1,000 days without lifting a trophy. Is this something frustrating? Max Allegri is going with a long answer. Some parts, especially the beginning part, has been cut and translated online, put online, and I understand the anger. Where he says, look, it is not frustrating. Of course, when you hear the coach of Juventus saying it is not frustrating to not win for 1,000 days, it's not okay. It's not a great sentence to start with. Now, I want to continue to address that, not in terms of defending or not, but just to make the answer complete. He says, I was a coach that is and was extremely lucky to win a lot of trophies, but when you're closing a cycle and when you're reopening a cycle, you can see things also from a different perspective. We have still the Coppa Italia that we have to play, and we must win, because this is clearly an objective. The season in Serie A is not over. They took away from us the participation in Champions League, because we deserved it also last year on the field. And when you're opening and closing and opening a cycle, not always it is able in this transition period to qualify to Champions League. We did. Since 2011, we always qualified to Champions League, where other teams in Europe, not only in Italy, they had some season where they didn't qualify to the participation of the Champions League. Then he's also saying, look, we are used to win, we were used to win, and we have to win again. Because this is Juventus, we have to go back and win again. If you're looking and listening to the entire answer, I understand that he's trying to send the positive message, to understand or to share the message that we close a cycle, that we are again in a new transition period that has been communicated officially by Scannavino in the beginning of the season, by Giuntoli, by himself. We are in an open cycle again. Luckily, we were able to always qualify to Champions League. We have to go back to that, but we have to continue to win. What are the positive messages there? That Juventus, even in difficult moments, was always able to game, no game, player, no player, whatever, to keep a stability in these standards. And from that point of view, I understand the answer. Then, on the other side, when you start saying it is not frustrating, I understand that it is a sentence when it's cut like that it's not nice to hear from. I would have preferred that he said, yes, it is frustrating, and then the rest, because it would have been a communication that was much better. These were the things that Max Allegri said. He spoke about Alcaraz, that he has a skill, a really great skill in learning fast, in, absorbing like a sponge, and he will have his opportunity. Jallo is coming back from an injury step by step, but also him can be important for the remaining part of the season. And then he said something important that I wanted to introduce. He said, the management is working to reinforce the team, as they are, and they should be more games next season. because next season, if we qualify to Champions League, the games will increase. Depending also what Napoli will do in Champions League, we could even participate to that FIFA new World Cup at the end of 2025, so that means at the end of next season. Maybe the Supercoppa that now sees 2 games instead of 1. The Coppa, so a lot of games potentially can be played next year. Reinforcement. Well, Tuttosport wrote an article today where they go with an overhaul of Juve with in 10 names. Who can potentially leave? Pogba and Alexandro. Alexandro will not see his contract extension according to Tuttosport. And then you have the Paul Pogba that is still fighting in court where we are waiting for a decision, but whatever the decision, according to Tuttosport, the relationship Pogba-Juve will end at the end of the season. On top of that, or Moiskin that was about to go to Atletico Madrid on loan, or Milik, one of them could potentially leave. Miretti, Iling, Nicolussi are players that can go on loan next season, especially Milik and especially Miretti and Nicolussi, where Iling Jr. depending if he have some offers to sell or not. Then an Alcaraz that we didn't see at the moment because we didn't have the opportunity to see him, depending what he will do for the remaining part of the season, could be a player that we will not see next season. On top of that, we have the questions, Rabiot and Rugani, 2 players that at the end of this season will be out of contract. Juventus want to renew both of them, but at the moment we have nothing black on white. So these are the players that could potentially leave. 9, 10, depending also if you have an offer. Who can come? Well, Tuttosport is saying we have no certainty, but we can go towards the rumors and starting understanding. And the big message that we have here is looks like every name, every direction that Juve is going for, they are looking towards a 3 men in offense. And these 3 men should be, on paper, Chiesa, Yildiz, Dusan Vlahovic, because Juventus wants to play there. And we hear the names of Zaccagni, of Felipe Anderson, on Gudmundsson, even a Berardi, that will always be linked to Juve, and a possible return of Soulé. So what Juve is doing, we have our 3 starters in a 3-man offense, and we are looking for the alternatives, because I heard about the rumor of Kostic leaving, Alexandro leaving, Iling Jr. leaving. So you see even Wea possibly leaving. So a lot of wingers leaving because changing of formation, playing with 3 up fronts, and Zaccagni, Felipe Anderson, it's not a coincidence that these names are there. On top of that, they are looking for players in the midfield. Koopmeiners, Samardzic, they will be there all summer long. Fagioli will come back, a possible comeback from loan of Barrenechea that is surprising a lot at Frosinone. So players that can reinforce Juventus. Koopmeiners, Samardzic, you already know Serie A. They were already observed. We know them better than anybody on the market. Koopmeiners with a big value, Samardzic a bit less, but still 2 big reinforcements for the midfield, depending also what Rabiot will do. In defense, not that much changes. There will be already a Giallo that we signed this season, but we are expecting him really to be a starter next season. A comeback from a loan like Huijsen or Facundo Gonzalez. Even I believe that Facundo will be loaned out in another team in Serie A because I don't see Sampdoria being promoted this season. And then Calafiori from Bologna. So a lot of names. Partially Mercato investments like a Koopmeiners and Samardzic. You see new names on the market, names that are coming back from loan, a Huijsen, a Soulé, depending, and then you have some players that will be promoted from the next gen. At the moment, I have no names. I believe that also to understand who will be promoted from the next gen, it depends at the end of the transfer market, which player will be you were able to sign, how many players you were able to sign, and what are the vacant role where you need a bit more fresh blood, which players are also ready for that next step, as a lot of players already show this season. So that was it for me, guys, for the video. We spoke about the press conference of Max. We spoke about the good things that he said, some things that he could have said better. We spoke about the intro, why I did a video in French this morning, and also about Mercato. I tell you, at the moment, Mercato is far away. The players, they should focus on the field, giving their best, and the management, they should start now, because it's February, we are the 16th, really starting thinking what the next season will look like, and faster we officially join the Champions League qualification, faster we can really push in going, okay, this is our strategy, our clear strategy for next season. Maximum of like if you didn't yet, please continue to subscribe to the channel. Grazie, forza, Juve. Ciao.